Today you are Flamma. The Colosseum roars your name. You have just won your 21st combat. The editor of the games, the presiding magistrate, raises his hand. The crowd erupts. You are not to be rewarded with coin, but with something infinitely more precious. The rudis, a wooden sword, the symbol of your freedom. This is the 4th time it has been offered to you. You are a legend. You have survived the impossible. But as you gaze upon that simple wooden blade, and then to the 50,000 spectators chanting your name, you do the unthinkable. You lower your head and refuse. You reject it. The roar of the crowd transforms into an explosion of disbelief and adoration. Why would a man refuse his freedom? To understand, we must return to the beginning. This is not the story Hollywood told you. This is the true chronicle of an arena superstar, told through his incredible career. We will relive your journey from a battlefield in Syria to becoming a legend of Rome. We will analyze the true wage that kept you voluntarily chained to the sand. And we will shatter the greatest myth of all, that every match was a death sentence. Prepare to discover why, for a man like Flamma, glory could be sweeter than freedom. You were not born with a trident in your hand. You were born a soldier in the Roman province of Syria. You were a free man until your cohort was crushed by a Roman legion. They did not execute you. You were young, strong, and skilled in combat, too valuable to die in a ditch. You were shackled and sold to a lanista, a procurer of gladiators, for his ludus, his school in southern Italy. Your new life is an inferno of discipline. At dawn, you train with heavy wooden weapons. You practice the movements of your class, the secutor, the chaser. You are taught to fight the retiarius, the netman. Your diet is strict: barley, beans, oats. The Romans called you the horderii, the barley eaters. This is not for torture, but to give you carbohydrates that create a protective layer of fat over your muscles, so that superficial cuts look more spectacular without being fatal. Every muscle in your body screams, but you survive. You learn. You become a weapon. Your first combat arrives. Fear is a frozen knot in your stomach. You walk through the dark tunnel, hearing the roar of a crowd that has come to see you, and the man who will try to kill you. You step out onto the sand. The light is blinding. The heat, the dust, the smell of blood and sweat. The trumpet sounds. The dance of death begins. You move as you were taught. You block, you dodge, you strike. The crowd roars with every blow. Finally, you see an opening. Your blade finds its mark. Your opponent falls. You do not kill him. He raises a finger, begging for mercy. The editor looks to the crowd, who raise their thumbs, a gesture that asks to spare a life, not the cinematic thumbs down, and declares you the victor. You have survived. And for the first time, you hear Rome scream your new name, Flamma. But what did you truly win that day besides your life? Let us analyze a gladiator's wage. After a major victory, a gladiator like you could receive a prize that, according to sources, could amount to some 25,000 sesterces. To put that in perspective, a Roman legionary risking his life for the empire earned about 900 sesterces a year. With a single victory, you have earned what it would take a soldier nearly 28 years to achieve. What could you buy with that? A good house in a city like Pompeii cost around 50,000 sesterces. With 2 victories, you could buy property. A domestic slave cost about 2,000 sesterces. You could buy a dozen. A fine linen tunic, about 15 sesterces. You could clothe an army. Your salary did not just allow you to live, it allowed you to dream of a wealth a soldier or a peasant could never imagine. And all you had to do was keep surviving. The years pass. The combats follow one another. You are no longer the terrified Syrian prisoner. You are Flamma, the crowd's favorite. Your face appears on mosaics and graffiti. Noble women pay fortunes to spend a night with you. You are infamous, the lowest social class, yet also a celebrity. You win 21 matches. You draw 9. You lose only 4. This statistic, etched on your own gravestone, is the ultimate proof against the great myth. So, was every fight to the death? No, not even close. You were a costly investment for your lanista. Your training, your food, your medical care, it all cost a fortune. Killing you in your first match was terrible business. Most combats ended when a gladiator was wounded or surrendered. He was granted missio, a reprieve. Of your 34 fights, only 4 were losses, and you survived them all to fight again. Death was a constant, brutal risk, yes, but it was not the primary goal. The goal was the spectacle, the munus. And you were the master of the spectacle. That is why, for times, the empire offered you the rudest freedom. The chance to be a normal man again, perhaps buy some land and disappear. And 4 times you refused it. The Syrian prisoner who fought for survival had died long ago. In his place, Flamma the Gladiator was born, a man who found his identity in the roar of the crowd, his worth in the prize of victory, and his purpose in the mortal dance of the arena. Life outside the Colosseum was a world you no longer understood. Why be a free, anonymous farmer when you could be a slave god, eternal? Your final combat comes at the age of 30. You fight with the same ferocity as always. But on that day, your opponent's blade is faster. You fall to the sand for the last time. The crowd, the same one that adored you, holds a respectful silence. You have died, but you have achieved the immortality you sought. Your transformation is complete. The man who was dragged to Rome in chains became a legend who chose his own chains of gold and glory. You survived the training, the diet, 34 combats. But you could not survive your own legend. The wage of the Colosseum was not just the money. It was the adoration, the fame, the identity. A payment so high that, to you, it was worth more than freedom and ultimately more than life itself. The story of Flamma forces us to reconsider the figure of the gladiator. Not merely as a victim, but as a professional in the most dangerous business in the world. What would you have done? Would you have taken the rudest at the first opportunity, or would the roar of the crowd have seduced you? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If this journey into the brutal reality of ancient Rome has fascinated you, subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.